Hi, my name is Megan Titche, and I'm here to talk to you about the Walt Disney Company and the culture, organizational structure. The objective of this project is to identify the major issue within the Walt Disney Company, to analyze and review the strategies to overcome the problem, to present a plan of improvement, and to address any obstacles to the change. In reviewing the company's organizational structure and culture, one must look at all aspects of the organization. This includes, but is not limited to, how they are seen by the public, how they onboard and treat employees, their community involvement, and how they are adapting to the change. The culture of the Walt Disney Company is defined as shared values, norms, and assumptions that guide members' attitudes and behaviors. Within the Walt Disney Company, their culture is founded on 4 circumstances. Those circumstances are innovation, organizational support, education, and entertainment. Being pioneers of innovation and creating an ever-evolving learning culture has been a focus of Walt Disney since the early 1980s. This is seen in the ever-changing and evolving parks and ventures that the company reassesses on a regular basis. Organizational support is the second circumstance. The company has always involved the higher managers of the structure in the support and creativity of the lower tier. Education is a huge part of the culture, from Disney University to tailored classes and lectures by animators and other creative minds to employee training. It is a prominent value and woven into many layers of the organization. The last circumstance is entertainment. There is no doubt that the Disney culture is to entertain. From movies and storytelling to bringing the experience to the interactive level, the concept is very tangible and interactive. Leaders need to understand how the culture is effectively communicated through behavior and the actions. There are 8 dimensions of desirability that companies are critiqued on according to Fortune. They are innovativeness, quality of management, long-term investment value, social responsibility to the community and the environment, people management, quality of products and services, financial soundness, and the use of corporate assets. Organizational structure is what controls and motivates employees to cooperate towards the end goal. The Walt Disney Company's structure is one of a multi-divisional design. The divisions focus on business segment, functional groups, and geographical divisions. Divisional structures are common within companies that have many products and services, as well as geographical areas and customers such as Disney. Disney has a very innovative culture. The constraints put on the diversification and other related management strategies is a disadvantage for the Walt Disney corporate structure. The entirety of the business diversification is limited or controlled by the functional groups through centralization. The problem that I'm going to discuss is in relation to people management, the labor relations, and communication. Disney is facing some real challenges in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. With the parks closed for extended periods, their revenue loss has forced them to restructure and rework the long-term investment value, as well as the management of millions of employees. The profits dropped more than 91% within the first 3 months of 2020. Due to the pandemic, Disney had to lay off over 28,000 people related to the theme park segment in the fall of 2020. This included many within the Disney University program. These students were not given any direction on how they could continue studies or when they might be able to resume their cast member roles. Additionally, they continue to utilize labor in other countries where the workers are being paid less than minimum wage. This has been happening since 1996. They were then investigated again in 2002, 2017, 2012, and most recently in 2018. In all these cases, the company declines having any knowledge of any labor violations. The people are what makes Disney successful, whether it is the labor who make the products, the people in the theme parks, the animators, or the magic makers. Collectively, they carry on the vision of Walt and Roy Disney. Conscious culture. Conscious culture is one where both management and employees are in tune with the environment, both internal and external, and where one feels that they are accountable or empowered. This is one of the 4 principles of conscious capitalism. The conscious culture of the Walt Disney Company in looking at the problem of people management does not have a very supportive culture. By using workers that are not their own employees and sources out to labor farms, they are not setting a good example. By laying off thousands of employees with no direction or solution is not fostering caring and love. During the pandemic, the company could have sent out surveys to the employees looking for ideas or looking for furlough volunteers or to task groups to see what could be done in a creative way to avoid the mass layoffs. But instead, employees were just sent a letter regarding their layoff. A friend of mine in the Disney University program received an email of the layoff, nothing more. As a young adult, she was one day working part-time as a cast member and attending school, and the next was left thousands of miles from family with no certainty of anything, no promise of help or direction from one of the largest companies in the world. I think they could have done a better job communicating and to incorporating these changes to their employees. The challenges within the Walt Disney Company are both regards to the global pandemic, the uncertainty of return to operations, and the entertainment industry. The challenges that Disney dealt within the pandemic are ones that no one has dealt with before. The entertainment industry as a whole was hit very hard, and most likely there were no contingency plans for this type of situation. Most companies were scrambling to figure it out day by day. Being an entertainment company, Disney was not one of necessity, and certainly no employees were essential workers. So the challenges lie in what to do and where do we go from here. The vision and plan for change. According to the company's 2020 report, one of the areas they address are the supply chains and the labor standards. Considering the past accusations, it is interesting that they address this in their corporate social responsibility report. They spotlight their supply chain investment program, which addresses the systemic root causes of noncompliance with the international labor standards. The other recent vision for change is the change of top management. Michael Eisner was the CEO until 2005, when Robert Iger took over the reins. Iger had a modern visionary thinking, and he promoted cooperation by mending the relationship between Disney and Steve Jobs of Pixar Animation Studios. But most importantly, Iger's early sustainable strategy was to adapt to changing competition and marketing forces, to embrace a more flexible system with self-managing teams, allowing members to have a wider span of creative control. The current CEO is Bob Chapek, who took over the reins during the pandemic from Iger, and Iger remains on in a creative capacity. Another vision for plan for change is one that focuses on the entertainment media as a revenue source. To continue their path of change for the betterment of the community, in 2021, Disney will begin tracking community involvement to charity and will continue to deliver the experiences to children with serious illnesses. These are the foundations that create the supportive culture from customers. Making the change. During the pandemic, Disney gave, as other companies did, N95 masks and ponchos to the homeless, but they failed their members and those who supported the magic, that is Disney. The top leaders of the company only lost their bonuses, and the top executives still made between $14 and $35 million in 2020 during the pandemic. Those were their salaries. This shows that Disney did not make the necessary changes for the good of the company and the stakeholders. Leaders need to be mindful with change, and that change should be for the betterment of all. to truly change the assumptions about what is and what is not appropriate behavior. One of the changes that Disney made was within streaming media with the purchase of Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus channel, to name a few. The innovation to focus in that direction during the pandemic helped to generate revenue for the company. By leading in a transformational way, they were able to recognize the need for change, create a vision to guide that change, and to execute the change effectively. Their success strategy. In reviewing what changes could be made structurally within the organization, I believe the direction for change should be to reorganize the divisions to better serve the employees and the labor forces. The matrix structure or some form of hybrid of that structure would have been more successful in dealing with some of the issues they ran into with both the layoffs and the continued issues with outsourced work and international labor regulations. This would be a cross-divisional group, as some are product-related, service-related, and some are management. By having a division that is responsible for employees of all levels of the company, may be able to better serve and assist employees with change in all different areas. If this structure were implemented, a focus group might have discussed that the top executives reduce their salaries in order to keep others both in the workplace and in the university program. In conclusion, there are many things that we can sit here and say that should have or could have done, but the pandemic was not one that held any certainty in our lives or within organizations and their structures. We have seen many companies not able to withstand the change that is needed during the time. Changes continue to evolve each day. Everyone can be a part of the change. A single person with clarity of conscience and willingness to speak up can make a difference. Contributing to the greater good is a deep fundamental human need. Leaders of all levels need to bring their voice of change, and others will follow, even cultural change on a large scale. The Walt Disney Company has made a few changes in the right direction. They have put their corporate social responsibility report, their commitment to better oversight of international labor. They have replaced a CEO who should have been the first to offer up the part of his salary for the benefit of others, and they continue to look for innovative ways to generate income. With these changes, they have never lost sight of the company that started on a wish.